All right, everybody, welcome back to depressing DeHaven Family Farm today. In this video, I was going to move some logs and move some dirt around on this clearing project. And as you can see, everything is just disintegrating. I had two big piles of all hardwood logs. It was mostly cherry with some maple. And yeah, they've been sitting here, I don't know, 8 years maybe. And until I started moving them here today, they all looked fine. There was a lot of bark left on some of them, and some of them, okay, the bark was coming off. But I thought they were okay. I mean, there was some beautiful saw logs here to put on the sawmill. There was a lot of firewood. So in firewood alone, there was probably $3,000 worth sitting here. And if I had been able to cut some of these logs on the mill to make nice cherry or maple logs, it would have been more than that. Maybe we would have been pushing like $5,000 sitting here. Let me take you back here and show you what this sort of looked like before, if I can get through these branches. But do you see how this guy here still has a lot of bark? So as I drove by these two big piles for the last couple of years doing stuff, this is what I saw. I saw a lot of bark on there, and I thought, okay, they're doing fine. I haven't had time to deal with them. But as you can see, that's not really the case. The bark was barely hanging on, and underneath in a lot of spots, it's just rotten. So this one bad decision here of me leaving these piles for now has just cost me a whole bunch of money. There might be a few logs here left, pieces that I could still cut up for some firewood if I can get out of here. This one here maybe still has some life in it, but I mean, this is all spongy right here. How depressing. It's my fault. But life gets busy and you kind of forget about things, and like I said, stuff had the bark on yet. Most of this is falling off now, but like this guy here is another example. The bark was sitting on there just fine, but then you go underneath and it just completely rotted out. So the pile was all the way back there on the other side of the machine, about as tall as the machine, and there was another one here, same thing. But all of these, like I said, maybe get a little firewood out of them. But now that the bark's come off, I mean, look at all the marks from bugs going in. This guy here was a beautiful piece of cherry that is now disintegrating. So it's a little bit depressing here. Again, it's my fault, but all of this stuff here, these used to be logs, and then I go and move them and they just smash. So let's finish digging through and see if we can find anything else. This whole pile here is all just disintegrated pieces, but there's a couple other bigger ones back here that, if I can get back here. Now, this guy here still has some bark, but we don't know what it's going to be like underneath. Maybe it's rotten, maybe it's decent. So let's get back in the machine here and see what we can salvage. All right, let's see what we can do here. I've still got I don't know if you guys can see the water squishing out of there. We're gonna set that big guy over there. We got to keep making our way through here, kind of bulldozing this junk out of the way. Yep, you guys just see that? Looked like a nice log, and then it just completely broke in the middle when I pushed on it. That might have a little bit left in it that's solid. Stack it over here. Yeah, that's a great one. See, and that was one that had the bark on it still, and it looked pretty good. Let's get over here a little more if we can without tipping over. We're sitting on a pile of, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not exactly sawdust, but this was a big guy here. Seems like it decently solid. Might be able to get a little firewood out of that guy. Only time will tell. Ooh, sorry about that. If these are any good for firewood. Might start cutting and splitting them open, and they might just kind of be spongy wood. Not completely disintegrated, but something that is going to burn really fast. All right, guys, we're all done. I'm going to take you and show you what I did, how it turned out. So you can see there's equipment parked in this area, and there's kind of an edge that came down through here. Well, we got about 40 to 50 feet right over in here where this equipment is sitting all the way back, sorry, and all the way down there. I want to make the field wider, so this equipment's going to get moved, and that's part of the reason this needs to happen. I want to add about 50 feet here to the width of the field, and obviously more field, more crop, more money. But this is where the pile was. You can see those guys back there. Those were actually pines that I had set aside for the sawmill. Obviously they're no good, but I did not move them today. But all of this is where the logs were. We got a rough grade going here on this now. Here is the pile. This is stuff that's either completely degraded or mostly degraded, just into pieces. It's a pretty big pile. The camera does not do it justice. Over here we have logs that maybe they're a pretty good diameter, a lot of them. Maybe there's going to be some decent firewood out of them. I think there's 8 or 10 here, but the outsides are so soft and soggy. You don't know. You could cut it, it looks good, you put it on the splitter and it goes to split, and then it just kind of disintegrates as you're splitting. So it's still a question mark on those. This big pile of stuff here is actually going to get moved again. Right now I was just trying to get things kind of cleaned up so I could see what was going on and what had to be done. This pile of logs here are ones, they're no good, but they're ones that were hanging together just enough that I could move them without completely shattering them. You can see like the end of this guy here is, they're all junk. So again, the field extension is going to keep going this way. Over in the corner there, I have a hole opened up where I put some of the stumps from this clearing project. So what'll end up happening, this big pile of dirt that's here, and then this hole is about, I don't know, 15 feet deep, and as you can see, it's fairly filled in at this point. But what I'm going to do, there's a dip over in that corner. So what I'll do is I'll bring all of the log pieces and, I don't know, they're not sawdust, but chunks, and I'll put them in this low spot here in the corner after I fill that hole in, and it'll just decay down, and eventually we'll have some decent topsoil that we could scoop out of there if we need to. So that's what's going to happen. All of this will, from all the way down there all the way back to this corner, is all going to be field. And of course we have all that to deal with right now. That was stuff from this clearing project. So a lot of stuff going on, but at least we got a start on this. There's a snowstorm coming. It's crazy how wet it is. It is February here, middle of February in Pennsylvania, and this is not exactly normal for us. I'm not complaining. I appreciate being able to come out here and work. So what I'll do is I'll bring the skid steer down here with a bucket and probably just end up scooping a lot of this stuff and taking it down there. That's why I wanted it up in a pile out of the way. Now I can actually access those logs back there if I want to cut some firewood and whatever. So that ends today's video. A little bit depressing for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of equipment work there. Just seeing what goes on around here and what happens when you forget about a bunch of logs and it costs you a bunch of money. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll consider subscribing. If you hit the bell icon, it'll notify you when a new video is coming up. And if you did enjoy this video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up on the way out the door, I would greatly appreciate it. And hey, I sure hope to see y'all on the next video.